Hi, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition, a worthy and chaotic edition. Can I say that? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Of Words, Images, and Worlds. Glad to be talking on this episode with comics creator Corissa Grant. Carissa, thank you for taking some time. Thank you for reaching out and sharing your book with me and being willing to talk to a guy like me on a day like this.
Well, thanks for having me on. I always appreciate being able to talk about the story and try to get it out there. And you guys always help by having me on. Otherwise, no one would know who the hell I am. So,
Yeah, well, we try, we try. I'm glad to be in the world of sharing about authors and comics, and I do a wide range, as you probably can tell from the folks that are listed on the site. But glad to share about your work. And the book is called Redemption.
yeah, it's well, I've been saying it's Worthy Chaos Redemption. It's the world of Worthy Chaos. Worthy Chaos
Hmm.
well has three stories written, but this is the first one that I'm releasing. But if you were to search redemption, you would find like 700 things. So
Yep.
Worthy Chaos, like if you were to search Kickstarter, Worthy Chaos is the perfect thing to search because we're the only thing that pops up. So it's
Nice, nice.
yeah, a little bit easier than redemption. I wasn't thinking ahead when I had picked that, but yeah.
Well, I love it though. I love the redemption theme, and it takes on so many forms. And I was going to ask about that relationship between because I've been looking at Worthy Chaos and kind of doing some digging around for the interview, and so I was thinking, is the title Worthy Chaos Redemption? Is the publisher Worthy Chaos? So for folks out there that are curious or unfamiliar, it is so Worthy Chaos is the publisher.
The publisher, yeah.
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 And then so the title of the book is Worthy Chaos Redemption.
It's just
Wonderful.
yeah, and it's called Worthy Chaos because of her, which we'll get into, but she
Hmm.
has angelic blood and she attracts everything negative and evil to her. So she always thinks she's a burden to Draven, and Draven always says she's worth it. So I
Yeah.
decided Worthy Chaos. And if it at first it sounded weird because he always says you're worth it. And I was just like, it should say something worth it. And then I was like, all right, Worthy Chaos. And then it was like, oh, that really fits.
I like it. I like it. It's sort of like the garage band title question. I always like to hear like the history of like why do you call yourself the Goo Goo Dolls?
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. And
It was the
Worthy
last.
Chaos.
Yeah, it was the last thing that I had thought of because originally it was like named like I can't even say it properly, so I don't even know why I picked it. But it was like fated. Like it's fate, chaos, and there were so many books named that. And being dyslexic, I can't even say it right. So I was like, "What the heck am I going to name this thing?" And I was just like, "What does he always say?" And he always says you're worth like in every book he's like, oh, you're worth it or it's worth it and blah blah blah. So yeah, I was like, oh, Worthy Chaos. And at first it sounded weird and my co-writer thought it was weird, and then like 2 days later I'm like, that really sounds perfect for it.
I like it. I like it. It's got a nice ring and it's
Yeah.
memorable. Um, yeah, I like it. And there's that wordplay because worthy
Yeah.
is so positive, chaos. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a good PR. I might hire you.
I try. I try. Absolutely. We try. Um, so I wanted to ask about a little bit of how the book came together, the inspiration for the story. I know that there's a role-playing history to the
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
So after playing Resident Evil 2, the original, I found out about role playing and I decided to be Claire Redfield. So I RP'd Claire Redfield for 15 years. And during that time, I came up with this angelic weapon that had the power of souls, and I literally held on to this for like 11 years. Like I had all these people that I RP'd with or wrote with for like 3 years, and they were all awesome, they all wanted it. I was like, no, I'm saving it, which probably now that I think back sounds pretty insulting. No, you're not good enough. So that's not what I meant by it. It just it wasn't the right person or the
Right,
right
right.
whatever. And then I found I had a new character, and I think I was playing like Faith or something from Buffy, and I had found this person, and literally 24 hours after meeting them, I was just like, "You want to take a role that I've held on for like 11 years?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't really take roles." Yeah, I want it. And I was like, "All right." And I sent her a 4,000 word starter, and that was it. We've been writing nonstop ever since for 2.5 years. We have written 11 novels, and 2 3 weeks ago we passed the 1 million word mark in the story. So
Wow.
so five of those books is this series Redemption.
Uh-huh.
It completes the series. It winds up being about 50 issues. So we have 50 issues written to complete the series. There's also a spin-off that's completely written. That's also 5 books, and that's about 40 45 issues. Then we have a prequel that we started that shows how everything started. That's one book in, so it'll eventually be five. And then we have series two started on both Redemption and the spinoff. So we have quite a few. We've got over 100 plus issues. So we're hoping people stay around and read it because I have all these cool things to read. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. That is so awesome. When I go to websites and I go to kind of check out what their submission process is, usually one of the things they ask is, where is this in process? And so I'm sure there are lots of creators out there. Oh yeah, yeah. It's been done, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So I know there are creators out there that have ideas that haven't put them down, but it sounds like you have a corpus,
Yeah.
codex of
Yeah.
books to come. So that is amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of like I was in a chat the other day with a bunch of indie creators and like, oh, we only write like 2 issues ahead. I was like, this wasn't planned. This is not something we planned. We wrote it, and all of a sudden I was like, do you know we have 11 novels? We should probably do something with this.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
and then I decided to jump into the world of comics with the stupid thought of how hard could it be? It's incredibly hard. I've been doing this for what, 7 months, and I still don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I will say there is something unique about the story because of the role play. Usually when you have co-writers, you kind of wrote it together and blah blah blah. Not It's not like that with role play. So with our story, I wrote the story and I wrote everything Serafina. So
Hmm.
everything Serafina, her thoughts, her actions, her speech, it's all written by me. However, Draven is completely written by my co-writer. So when
Hmm.
you're reading
Hmm.
it, they have two different personalities for a reason. I'm not that good of a writer. They're two completely different people. So you get to see like they talk differently, they think way differently. Like my character is like me. She talks way more than she thinks. And then you have Draven who thinks way more than he talks. So you could see the struggle that they both have, and it's kind of cool because we do have thought bubbles, which is also a little bit different. Back in the day, retro comics had it, but it was more like exposition kind of thing going on. And
Uh-huh.
ours is more to get into their head because I used to read novels, and the best part about reading the novels is to get into the character's head. Like, I want to know what they were thinking or what they were doing. Like, sometimes I'll watch the movie and be like, oh, I got to know what they were thinking during the scene.
Hmm.
Um, that's kind of like that. So, with this, you kind of have a movie comic novel because my artist, Jonas DaCosta, who's absolutely phenomenal, he does panel work like it's a movie. Like, it's like movement
Hmm.
galore. And I had one critic be like, oh, you could take out panels and shorten the book and because my book's pretty long, like you could shorten the book. And I was like, panel work is what I get praised the most. Like everyone loves the
Right.
panel work, everyone loves the dialogue. So you have that you have that element from each one, which makes it a little bit more unique, and then you have, the thought process, the action of the comic, and you have everything going on. So you have all these novel action comic going on. Which is definitely unique. It wasn't on purpose, but it's how it is.
Love
So
that. Love that.
it worked out, yeah. And I've been converting, the novels to scripts, and I just started script 19, so I'm like
Wow.
almost halfway through. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's my favorite. I don't know if you know Resident Evil at all, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah. So each book they're all connected. Like you have to read all the way through, but each book is like a different environment. So like book one is more Silent Hill-esque. You have them trapped in a
Hmm.
town that's merging with hell. They're fighting against demons and angels and zombies and zombie mermen and Anubis and hellhounds and ghosts and everything you could possibly imagine, and vampires. And then at the end of that, they get trapped in a haunted asylum. So in book 2, it's kind of like Resident Evil 1, where they're trapped in the mansion, they can't get out. We have like salamanders that are like the lickers, they hang on the ceiling and they kind of attack. Then we have the zombies and we have ghosts galore, and they kind of trapping them in the asylum. And then in book 3, which I'm not supposed to have a favorite, is absolutely my favorite. It's Resident Evil 2. So like they're
Hmm.
trapped in an infested city. They run into 2 survivors, which I realize I have not told my artist about, 2 more main characters, but whatever. So we have the 4 characters and they're trying to, get through this infested, zombie filled lab, creature filled city. And they go through a military hospital, they go through, the sewers, they go through laboratories. So you get all this Resident Evil stuff. And then 4 and 5 is mostly, I don't know if you know Code Veronica, but it's a better version of
Hmm.
Code Veronica. It was not the best game, but it was
Oh,
Claire.
okay.
But it's an island that they did all these experiments on, and the experiments get out, and now they're trapped in the island, and so that's kind of what that is. So each book is its own environment, but it's all it's all connected. So
That's cool. That's very cool. Now, when you say Resident Evil, you're talking about like the OG
yeah.
90s. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
The
used to
original.
play that with my cousin.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, on the
It was.
PlayStation, whatever the
Oh
first or
yeah.
second one was.
So it was PlayStation 1. And I know this because I never really played games. And I am old enough that I played Atari. So I had Atari and I
Uh-huh.
had Duck Hunt. I sucked at Mario. So I didn't really have like the gameplay going on. So what got me to play Resident Evil, it's the stupidest reason ever. I remember watching a commercial and there's this part where the crocodile comes out to try to get Leon from the sewer. Like it's like a 4 second, if even, thing.
Uh-huh.
That was it. I went out and bought PlayStation 1, rented
Yeah.
the game. Yeah, rented the game, came home with no instructions for the game. And like I just kept walking poor Leon into the fire until I like threw the controller. My brother comes in who's been playing Zelda his whole life, picks it up, plays it like a nothing. And of course I have to
Right.
curse him out and tell him to get out. I'm playing this game and I fell completely in love with it. I went out and I bought that, and for whatever reason, Final Fantasy VII. And I came home and I'm looking through the instruction manual. I was like, "There's an auto aim!" Like I'm mad. I was like, "They have this auto aim thing." But yeah, that was it. I was completely addicted to the game, and then I went and played 1. But once you play 2, 1 isn't as good as 2. So, um, it's okay, but it's mostly keys. You're in 1 and you're just in the mansion, so it's not as cool. Um,
Yeah.
but I still absolutely loved it. And 3 was okay. But 4 was like, everything. Like 4 is like, woo, this is like the best thing. Even the remake, I was watching the remake, I was like, it doesn't look much better. Like it's good. It's
Yeah.
not, I mean, it's not like amazing compared to the original 4, so whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love those inspirations that you can take from around you and then kind of put your own spin and bring your characters. And
Oh,
I love the strong female center of redemption and the horror elements that you
she's
brought
bad.
into
Yeah,
it.
she's kick-ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she's what's nice about her is she obviously is a fighter, and she can totally take care of her own. But then you have this big tough guy who wants to protect her.
Hmm.
And she lets him once in a while. She'll let him depending on the situation. But then there's other situations where she'll just ram right through a door where he's like, "Wait," and she's like, "Nope." And if he's in trouble, she's just as stubborn as he is. I mean, they totally will do it's kind of Romeo and Juliet in hell. They've got this
Hmm.
bond that they got going on, and they will literally do anything. It's to test the limits of what you would do for the person that you love more than anything. There's no I mean, it's not a romance story. They love each other really, like this, they're soulmates, but they're not mushy love. I mean, Draven doesn't even say "I love you" till like book 3. Like he's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
he knows he loves her. He can't say it. And in issue 5, you get to see this internal struggle where he's trying to tell her that he loves her, and he's just like, can't do it. He's like, "Just don't leave." That's his romantic sketch. Just don't leave, and we're happy. But
He
yeah,
was
she's
working on it. He was working
yeah,
up
he,
to it.
he worked really hard on it. That's the best he can do. But yeah, she's got her own fighting skills. She's not a damsel in distress. And if she does become a damsel in distress, it's because she was doing something incredibly dangerous to get into that situation. So it's not just like, "Oh, save me." She's just
Right.
like, "Stay back. I got this." But yeah, they're both stubborn. Both a pain in the ass. So that's actually everything he said. Like we have certain motifs that people might catch up on. One is he always calls her a pain in the ass.
Uh-huh.
And she's like rightfully so, because he's always worried about her. He's always trying to help her and all this stuff. And the other thing was, so her name is Serafina, but he calls her Sierra half the time, but nobody else can ever call her that. So, and
Uh-huh.
that was like a joke halfway through the first chapter. I don't remember how, I think we were in the prequel or something. We were writing something and we're like, he should really be the only one that calls her Sierra. So you'll see a lot of times if anyone calls that, he'll just scream at them, it's Serafina. So it just becomes this like joke between with them that's like no one else can call her that, and he gets really grumpy over it. So yeah, he's
Nice,
great.
nice.
Yeah.
And what a great name for a character that has angel blood. Nice
Yeah.
throwback there to some history with that name.
Yeah.
Um, and you mentioned the artist. The art is really nicely done as well. Um,
Um, this is his first paid job.
wow.
So yeah. So hopefully he has that loyalty and never leaves. But
Yeah, yeah.
and he does, I mean, it isn't just he's not just a paid artist. I mean, he is poorly, but he's not just a paid artist. He's he's part of the team. He's very into the story. I mean, he worries about the characters, something happens. He's like, are they gonna be okay? I'm like, there's 50 more issues. Yeah, they'll be fine. Um, but but we do torture our poor characters. But yeah, he went away for like 30 days, and like 2 weeks in he's like, I missed the story, like we hadn't heard, my husband told me not to bother him, so I didn't message him at all. And like 2 weeks in he's like, I really missed the story, and then there's a countdown, 10 more days till they write this story. So he's really into it too, which is nice. I mean, he just had a family emergency, and I was like, oh, take the week off, like, take
Yeah,
whatever time, he goes, I can't go that long without drawing. I was like, okay. It's like, whatever. His family's fine, fortunately. But it was a
yeah,
stressful week,
yeah.
and he still came out with like amazing pages. And he's super fast. I mean, we had issue 6 before 5, was even on Kickstarter. He Kickstarter starting with the it is now issue 6 is the campaign. And he's already, I think he's got 4 pages to go, sketching the issue 7, and then he just has to
Nice.
ink and color. So he's really fast, which I personally love. My wallet not so much, but I personally love it. So because I always want more. It's like, give me more pages, I need more pages. But
Yeah.
yeah, and his art has increased like amazingly. So he started school with it, and he's learning new techniques. And even someone was like, I mean, all his art's good. I mean, 1 and 2 are amazing, but even someone was like, is this the same artist? And I was like, I didn't know if it was negative or positive. So I was like, why? Like, I don't know. Like, why?
Right. Tell me what
Like,
you're really asking. Yeah.
yeah. Like, what is going on? And they're like, it's just so amazingly upgraded. And I was like, oh no, that's him. He's just been busting his butt. I mean, he's been
Yeah.
doing, I mean, and the panel work is all him. I would love to take credit for that. When we first started, I don't know if you know, I had an original artist that stole like $3,000 from me, and I tried to fix
No.
it for $2,000. So I wasted $5,000. I released it, didn't like it. And when he came on, everyone told me he could start at 2. You don't need him to do 1. 2's fine. Fine. So he did 2, and then he did 3. And I was like, you have to go back and do 1. So he actually redid 1, and we released 1 through 3 all together. But we butt heads. And I feel bad saying this because it makes me feel like he's difficult. He is not difficult at all. I'm the difficult one. But I had, I was used to giving a script to somebody and them having to do, if I have 5 panels, they do 5 panels. Like, it wasn't like, it wasn't like a give and take. They did whatever the heck I said, and it was the stupidest thing they could have done. So then he comes along and he's doing all this panel work, and I was like, that's not what I wrote. Like, it was like, so it wasn't until like halfway through issue 2 that my like blood pressure was through the roof, and my husband's like, you need a new artist. Like, no, he's the best artist. Like, he draws my characters exactly how I want. I just have to figure out this compromise. And what I wound up doing was, I originally had like 5 to 7 panels, and I backed it to 3 to 5, and then he does whatever he wants with those.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
he turns my 3 or my 4 into like 7, into these gorgeous panel work. And I'm just like, you do your thing. So like, I have no idea.
Nice.
These panels are not me. This is all him. He's amazing at panels. He does panel work. He's always experimenting on different angles. And I I just tell him stop doing angles upwards. No one looks good looking upwards, so no more upwards. But besides that, yeah, I mean, and his action sequences are gorgeous too. So
Definitely.
I
There's a
hit the
lot there.
jackpot, and he picked his price, and he's way underpaid. So the whole thing is, I hope I make enough to pay him more. Is my goal. Make enough to pay my artist what he deserves. So I don't know if that's possible, but yeah.
Yeah, I love that collaboration aspect of it. And the thing that I'm also hearing about you and the whole team is a lot of passion for it, a lot of energy into the storytelling, to the point of not being able to leave it alone and
Yeah.
like take
Yeah.
care of other things, like wanting to come back to it, which I think that's cool to enjoy something so much that in a way like getting to work on it is part of taking care of yourself too, which is a really nice thing.
Yeah, we joke that we're addicted to the obsession of it because it's just yeah, I can never get enough of the story. I'm either thinking, reading, writing, scripting, or talking about the story. Like I have my own business and I work 5 times harder at this fun hobby that I do. Um, and I absolutely love it. Like I was thinking the other day, so I gift wrap every single which I might regret when I have a lot of backers, like 200 backers. But I had 115 backers and I gift wrap every single one of them, with tissue paper, and I gift wrap them because I don't know where it started because I hate gift wrapping. So I don't know where it came from. I don't gift wrap Christmas or birthday. So, but I was sitting here and I gift wrapped it and I just like the thought of someone opening it like a present. And I was doing that, and most people are so stressed at the end of a campaign. I was like, I love this. Like, I love
Mhm.
gift wrapping this. I got them all mailed out. So I don't know if you know how Kickstarter works. You get paid 2 weeks after it ends. I don't
Oh,
know
okay.
why they hold. It's kind of annoying. So mine ended on a Monday, and everything was shipped that Saturday. Like I hadn't even got paid yet. But I hate waiting for stuff, so I don't want to
Hmm.
make other people wait for stuff. So yeah, I sent everybody's stuff out, and like I think they were all delivered. So 2 days later, like I don't know how they got delivered so fast. But yeah, it just feels like it was meant to be. And I never in my million years, if anyone said when I was a kid or anything, what would you like to do? It was never, I want to make a comic book. Like this was not, I mean,
Hmm.
I loved Ghost Rider in the 90s, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like, oh, I wish I could draw this or write this or whatever. Nope. It's just, I wrote this awesome story. I might be a little biased there, but this awesome story. And now I get to see it, released as a comic book. And I love seeing the characters on the page, and everyone's like, oh, do you cut out a lot? No. Like I probably should have, but no, there's 50 issues for because I didn't cut out anything. And I lowered the pan of work for my artist to do his thing. And yeah, it's longer, but it's just so worth it to
Yeah.
have it. So yeah, it's an
Well, and
obsession.
and to get it into the way that you wanted and to get that vision across is a really nice thing too.
Yeah, and it's really funny because when he sends me pages, like he'll send me 2 to 3, maybe if I'm lucky, 4 pages a day, sketches. And um when there's almost never a correction, but when there is, it's like over and over. It's like the same page needs it for whatever reason. It's like the page of a cursed page. We had one cursed page in issue 1. I don't know if you read issue 1, but there's this one
Hmm.
part where she's getting away from her brother murdering her parents, and she jumps out the back window, and Draven, it comes in the front door, slips on her blood, calls her, and she turns around and gets hit by a car. That page of her getting hit by the car 1,000 times had to be fixed. I mean, might be
Wow.
exact. It was like at
Yeah, yeah,
least 7 times. It was
yeah.
just, and it's not its fault, and it wasn't my fault. It was just miscommunication on this one page. Like the rest, no problem. So I kept calling it the cursed page. Like, just get this page done. And then like we'd hand it in and we're ready, and then like, oh wait, this is wrong. Like this doesn't match this, or no, he's not supposed to be looking this way. And it was just nonstop. So, but generally he just hands me pages and it's good to go, and I just drool over it and then we move on. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So for people out there that want to check out the issues, support the Kickstarter and do all those things, website links, social medias, all of the things.
Yeah. So the best thing is Kickstarter. We are generally always on there, either pre-launch. Kickstarter took a while for pre-launch this time. It took 5 days after campaign ended, which I was freaking out about. I was like, it's supposed to take 3 days. Why is this taking so long? So almost always we're on Kickstarter. If not, wait a couple of days, we'll be on there. We have issue 6 now is out. I think by the time you post this, it's going to be live.
Awesome.
So go
Awesome.
search Worthy Chaos in Kickstarter and you'll find us popping up. Also we have a Facebook group, Worthy Chaos. Other creators can post their stuff there. They can post their Kickstarter links. Artists can post their commission links in there. Podcasters can post their links in there. Because we
I'll have a
support all.
link coming to you.
Yeah. We have, we support all indie creators and all that stuff. And then I'm on Twitter with 5.3 thousand followers, and I think the same 20 retweet my stuff over and over again, which I highly appreciate.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
we're but we're
That's how
on
the Twitter do. Yes.
right, yeah. So it's at worthy_chaos, and you can find us there. And we like to tweet out rewards. We have a lot of merch. We're merch queen. I've been called merch queen. We have plushies, clay statues, metal covers, coins, pillow stickers, buttons, yeah, I want 3D statues, anything you can think of, we probably have it. So I like to post those. I like to post covers and polls and pages, and I probably show way more. If you just followed me on Twitter, you'd probably see the whole issue before it's out, because I just get so excited, like, look at this page. Trying not to do that, but I absolutely love it. But yeah, so you can find us on all the socials. And definitely talk to me. I'm like the kid that would get kidnapped. I talk to anybody that talks to me, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, but
All right.
yeah, but the tagline, I'm supposed to say the tagline for anyone that likes Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Supernatural and Silent Hill and the Resident Evil world. It's got all of that jammed into this one very long comic. So I can't just say this one comic, this one very long comic. So it's very action packed, a lot of character development, but it's mostly action packed. It's role play, so I had to write enough to get the person excited to write back.
Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely. Love
I
it.
have to
Love it.
entice you. But I also always end in a cliffhanger. So sorry.
Love that too. Yeah, love that.
Yeah,
I'll when you're saying the tagline, when I share the video, I'll make sure that the tagline floats down. How about that?
nice. I
Yeah,
like that. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. All the special effects, all the things.
all the things. I love
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and just when you do play the song, the background music of the song is actually a song that we had written and performed and sung just for our characters.
Wow.
So it's actually a downloadable song. I think it's like $3 as an add-on. You get the instrumental and the vocal version. But the music and the video, so it's not copyrighted, you're all set. It's copyrighted to us. But yeah, that's a song. We have a new one being written and performed for us. It's about zombies.
Nice, nice.
So hopefully we get that by the end of the year for book 2, because issue 7 will start October 3rd, and issue 8 will be January 23rd, because I gave everyone off Christmas so they don't have to hear me talk for a whole 2.5 months. So freedom. So I don't think anyone will forget me in 2.5 months. I'm sure they'll see me somewhere.
And issues are on the way. Issues are on the
Yeah,
way. And I
issues
mean,
are
talk
always
about
on the way.
immersive.
And
Immersive with the music.
yeah, and music. And we got a hardcover graphic novel for the first 7 issues coming out in January too, with issue 1 of book 2. So they have that option too, which I'm excited for, because hardcover seems so real. Like, oh my God, it's a real cover. So yeah, it's exciting.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing. I think you shared a couple of issues with me, so thank you for
Yeah,
that. And
oh,
thank you
you're welcome.
for jumping on and talking with me, and glad to share about your work and looking forward to hearing how the journey goes.
Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Great to meet you.
Great to meet you too. Thank you.
Thanks.